According to Adam Schefter, former Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott wants to come to Philadelphia. What would that look like, and does that even make sense? No. But first, let's run it. Hey everybody, Josh Davis here again on a Thursday and had to jump on with the breaking news. Make sure to like and subscribe. You guys may have already seen this because it's been blowing up on Twitter, but Ezekiel Elliott wants to come to Philadelphia and play for the Eagles. So take a look. Adam Schefter's the first one that reported this, and here's his tweet. He says, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott has narrowed down his options about where to play to the Eagles, Jets, and Bengals. He would like to make his decision about where to sign by the end of the week per sources. And then he goes on to further say, if the question becomes, what would be the reasonings or where or why he would want to play somewhere. And it says, Eagles once signed former Cowboys running back Demarco Murray after the Cowboys let him go. Aaron Rodgers would be a lure to the Jets, and Joe Burrow was at Ohio State in 2015 when Ezekiel Elliott was there. So there's three different options, and as we've seen here and what's being reported is Ezekiel Elliott is narrowing it down to three. But now the reports are starting to come out that it looks like Philly may be the number one spot, because you see here on this tweet, according to John Clark, he says, I'm told Ezekiel Elliott wants to play for the Eagles. He has had by far the most rushes and touches of any running back since he came into the NFL in 2016, and his production is going down. Now, whenever John Clark says something, there's some definite validity to it. Now, I'm questioning if this is going to be the right move, but if you take a look at the article that John Clark was mentioning, it says, could Ezekiel Elliott be headed to the Eagles? And this is by Reuben Frank, and it says, quote, the Eagles have emerged as a possible landing spot for longtime Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Schefter tweeted late Thursday afternoon that Elliott has narrowed down his options about where to play with the Eagles, Jets, and Bengals. Are the Eagles truly interested in Elliott? It doesn't initially seem to make a lot of sense on the surface. It doesn't seem like a Howie Roseman type of move. The Eagles did allow Pro Bowl running back Miles Sanders to leave free agency. He signed a 4-year deal with the Panthers, but they signed Rashad Penny and re-signed Boston Scott, and they still have Kenny Gainwell and promising Trey Sermon, a 49ers third-round pick just 2 years ago on the roster, as well as former Oklahoma star Kennedy Brooks. And while Elliott is only 27, he's piled up 1,984 carries, 2,300 touches in 103 games over 7 seasons, and his production has steadily dropped under the weight of 22 touches per game throughout his career. It says after averaging 1,756 scrimmage yards and 4.6 yards per carry, making 3 Pro Bowls from 2016 to 2019, Elliott has averaged 1,191 scrimmage yards per season and 4 yards per carry over the last 3 years. The article goes on to mention yes, you could probably get him for a lower salary cap. There's not as much of a risk because Elliott wants to play for a contender. You're also talking about he's got a lot of wear and tear, and we've seen it. And I'm pretty sure if all of us think about just the eye test, Ezekiel Elliott does not necessarily scare you anymore. He can sure have every once in a while a breakthrough run, but he does not run with the same power and purpose that he used to in those years, like I mentioned, from 2016 to 2019, that was a little bit fearful for an Eagles defense. So it's curious to see, and I can't believe or can't imagine that the Eagles would, but as we keep seeing, the reports are suggesting this is becoming more and more likely. And so you see it from DeBird's blog, and they're trying to make the argument. It says Ezekiel Elliott allowed just 2 pressures on 52 pass blocking snaps, no quarterback hits or sacks. While Elliott isn't the same runner that he once was, he would bring a much needed improvement as a pass blocker in the backfield. Now, that's true. Sure, you could use a pass blocker, but I'm sorry, I don't think we're signing a guy to get a pass blocker in this situation. You're going to sign a running back that can hopefully run the football, and Rashad Penny is a much better pass blocker than Kenny Gainwell or Boston Scott. And then you can make all sorts of other arguments. So the question then becomes, haven't we seen this before? Didn't we see this with Demarco Murray? Haven't we seen this with a lot of other Cowboys? So you take a look at this tweet from Jimmy Kimsky, and yeah, it says the Eagles have had atrocious results signing discarded Cowboys. DeMarco Murray, Miles Austin, Orlando Scandrick, Felix Jones, Chris Boniol, etc., etc. Murray and Scandrick were also, well, we're just going to go ahead and leave it with that. But you know what we're saying here is this team right here has signed discarded Cowboys, like I mentioned. We've seen the results. And yeah, you could argue, okay, that was with the Chip Kelly area, and so they weren't set up for success. DeMarco Murray, he did go on and play a little bit better, obviously, with Tennessee and had a Pro Bowl year. But I'm sorry, this is something that we're looking at, and it seems very clear-cut and obvious to me, is the Eagles should not sign Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know. There's some people that I'm starting to see now on Twitter. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Should we sign Ezekiel Elliott? And I guess if so, what's the deal you sign him for? I mean, the only way that I would even remotely think this makes sense is if you sign sign him on what? A $1 million, $2 million a year? Otherwise, there is absolutely no way. And even then, I'm kind of like, you know what? No, forget him. I don't want Ezekiel Elliott on this roster. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another argument to be made for why Ezekiel Elliott maybe won't be coming to Philly is he tweeted this and said, I want my 15 back. Now, obviously, that's the number that he wore with Ohio State, but that's a problem in Philadelphia because Steve Van Buren has that number retired. So I don't think that they're going to be going and saying, yeah, you know what, you can wear number 15. Now, although I'm sure that Ezekiel Elliott's number one priority or choice is not going to come down to jersey number, but just something interesting to throw out. And again, I did want to look at too, as we're talking about just the numbers, and I know that the made mention of 2016 to 2019 was the most productive for Ezekiel Elliott, but just take a look at his seasons here. So these are a list of his season stats, and obviously you can see here, it's from 2016, 1,600 yards, 983 yards, but obviously he was injured that season, 1434, 1357. You could make the argument that he played obviously, well, besides the injury-ridden season, but 2016, 2019, like the article said. But after that, we've seen a clear dip, and it's 979 yards, 1,876. His yards per carry has dropped 4.2, and 3.8. Don't give me the argument of the touchdowns, because to me, he's been the benefactor of kind of just getting these garbage touchdowns or scrap touchdowns because they're on the 1 yard line. And let's be honest, he's not really the power back like that we've seen, or we haven't seen that type of explosive running from him. So I think he's on the downhill slide. The amount of carries that he's had in his career too. I mean, look at these numbers, 1881 in the regular season. I mean, those are incredible amounts of carries and touches. So I don't think that this is a guy that you sign up for. Now, you could, again, make the argument and say, well, didn't Demarco Murray, like we've been talking about, go to the Titans and have a Pro Bowl year? He did, but if you take a look at his numbers here, okay, he starts out with the Cowboys, obviously 897, 663. Then he had a couple really good years, 1121, 1845. His averages were high. Then he goes to Philly. Not really the best offense, and I'll give you that. Chip Kelly's system and all that was not set up for success for DeMarco Murray. But 3.6 yards per carry, not a great season. Goes to Tennessee after that, 1287, 4.4, 9 touchdowns, and then you see the immediate slide. But here's the big argument to make. He had 1604 after going to Tennessee for 2 more seasons. So before he got to Philadelphia even, you're looking at the rough math there. That's about 700 carries. He had only like 900 attempts. Ezekiel Elliott, let's go back to it. He's double there already. So I'm sorry, the wear and tear is on his legs much more than DeMarco Murray. Do not sign Ezekiel Elliott. Thumbs up for that. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but I am not for this. The other news really quickly I wanted to get to, and there's rumors of obviously safety. What are we doing there? But the Eagles hosted former Falcons and Bucs safety Keanu Neal on a visit. So you see that from NFL rumors. It'll be curious to see what they do in that situation. I know that we're not solidified and how he's always looking to kind of add depth, see what we could do from the defensive backfield. Keanu Neal is a strange look. I mean, he's had some moments, and he was obviously drafted in the first round by Atlanta, but I don't know. At this point, he's not old by any means, but it's still a curious signing because he didn't have a great season last year, and he hasn't really had consistent signing. And Pro Football Focus graded him, I think, as like the 50th best safety in terms of just his receptions allowed versus receptions targeted and things like that. So I don't know. To me, there's probably better options, but again, you are looking for guys who are versatile, can play in this Sean Desai defense, so perhaps he fits. He's a 6 foot tall, 210 pounds. He does have some versatility from that standpoint, so it'll be interesting. We'll keep you posted on all the latest news, but again, had to jump on here with the Ezekiel Elliott news. I'm sure we'll get news either late tonight, tomorrow. We may even have a live show if that happens with Thomas Mott, so be sure to tune in on that. But appreciate you guys joining as always. Make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Josh Davis, and this has been the Philly Special.